Welcome back to another episode in our private podcast within the Soul Align Network. Today, I have the absolute joy of introducing you to one of our guest experts, 𝗞𝘁𝗄. And Katie is just a passionate woman's advocate.
Mm.
She's also an author, a book coach, an empowerment coach, a motivational speaker. So she has it all. And what I've been able to notice from Katie is that at the heart of everything that she does, there is a deep commitment to helping women rise
Mm.
and really see the magic within themselves. So I can't wait to get into this conversation today. And first off, welcome, Katie.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Dan. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I know this is going to be a really juicy, in-depth conversation. I can feel it.
Yes, I love that. And I have to start off by saying you have an inspiring bio uh, that really tells me you're a woman that you don't just wear many hats, right? In service of women. I feel that deep passion behind you, and not just in your bio, because that just absolutely fell short, but just in what I see from you on social media, how you show up. But why don't you tell us? I mean, have you always been doing this kind of work, or what really led you to it? Tell us a little bit more about Katie.
Yeah. Oh, well, how long have you got, right? I mean, my story is long, and if I gave you everything, we'd be here for a long time. But I will give you the kind of the highlight reel, if you like. So, to answer your question, no, I haven't always been doing this work. Not at all, actually. This work, in and of itself, I've only been doing it for about 4 years at this point. I mean, I was doing it before, but I wasn't owning it. I was kind of doing it as like it was part of what I did, but it wasn't what I did. But my journey's been really kind of up, down, here, there, and everywhere in between. At one point, I have actually been a high school teacher for my sins. I swear I must have been a bad girl in a former life because that was certainly a job and a half. But really, it's yeah, 2021 was the turning point for me. And actually, before that, I was very into my spiritual realm. I awakened in 2010, which we can get into how that kind of happened. But from 2010 till 2021, I was firmly in that space. So I was, and still am, I haven't stopped. I am a psychic, a tarot reader. I connect with the angels. I've written for 2 UK magazines. My books were focused on spirituality. Like I was really in that space. And actually, what happened was that when lockdown hit, obviously 2020, we remember it well. I was just doing tarot reading, tarot reading, tarot reading, tarot, which I was very blessed to do because obviously everyone was so scared and so didn't know what was going on and looking for answers. And I was really grateful and blessed that I could do that for people. But I got burnt out. I got real fatigue from doing it because it's all I was doing, apart from also being a stay-at-home mum to the kids during lockdown. Um, and I came to the end of it and I was like, I felt lost, I felt confused, I felt like I wanted to change, but then I felt guilty for wanting to change. Like it was the whole thing. And of course, synchronistically, a friend of mine was learning how to read the Akashic records. And she said she was looking for guinea pigs to kind of practice on. And I was like, oh, me, please. And so she did a reading for me. And what really stood out for me was your life purpose is to empower women and girls. And you're already doing it. You just have to own it. And I was
Oh,
like the goosebumps, right? I was like, okay,
yeah.
yeah, definitely. So that's when everything changed. That's when I really stepped into the space that I'm in now.
Yeah. Okay. So I think you hit on something that a lot of women who are going perhaps through their awakening or experience their awakening um, can get messages, can get, readings. But I think sometimes the information that is shared, people don't know how to embody it. They have no idea. They can't see themselves in the space of supporting others, but they may already be doing it, kind of like you explained, you were already doing it. You just had to own it. Like, sometimes you don't see it because it just comes so natural to you.
Absolutely.
So, what happened after that? How did you begin to own your purpose and what you were truly meant to be doing?
Well, I did a whole rebrand first and foremost because I am that person. I'm like, okay, well, if we're going to own this, we're going to own it fully, right? And being ready is not a feeling; it's a decision. You have to decide to be ready.
Yeah,
You have to decide that you are
absolutely.
ready, even if you don't feel like you're ready, right? In fact, especially if you don't feel like you're ready, because you're never going to feel like you're ready, right? So
Right,
you have
right.
to just kind of, you know, and jump in the deep end kind of thing. So that's what I did. I went and I rebranded completely. And again, my tarot readings were kind of turning into coaching sessions because that's what I do. I listen. I'm a really good listener. Don't judge people and can hold space for people. So I did a home learning course on coaching, got that, started coaching, and from there, again, I was already writing books. My best friend in Florida asked me out the blue. She said, "Hey, I've got this idea for a book. Don't have the time. If I send you everything that I've done, could you put it all together for me, turn it into a book, and publish it for me?" And I'm like, "Me?" She's like, "Katie, how many books have you written?" And I was like, I know, but to do it for somebody else. Anyway, she completely trusted me. I did it, loved it. And that's when I was like, oh, I should be doing this as well. And that's when I call myself now like this multi-passionate entrepreneur. A friend of mine years ago said, Katie, wouldn't you be better just picking a lane and just niching down on it? And my absolute gut reaction was no. I said,
Hmm.
now what I do is my umbrella is empowering women. But that means I can hang anything off that umbrella because it all comes under that space. So, and for me, it means I can help different women in different ways. Also means that I go where my energy goes. So I'm my own boss. I get a rifle call to go. It's gorgeousness. But really, I think if you wait it's like sometimes we feel like we need permission. Like we're like waiting for the green light, waiting for the special letter that comes, like a Hogwarts letter. You're a wizard, Harry. No, it's like you have to realize at some point, I think, that no one's going to give you permission to live your life. Like if you
Yeah.
want to live your life, it's up to you to go out there and live it. And for me, I'd rather be living a life that feels fulfilled and joyful and connected than sitting on the sidelines of my own life.
So tell us a little bit about that. I know there's so many women who want to make a change
Yes,
and are just too scared or scared is probably fear is what kicks in the most.
sure.
But, and from my point of view, there's more to lose staying in that discomfort,
Mm,
unhappy place than
hmm.
the fear involved in taking that next step. I mean,
Yeah.
from your experience, what kind of fears or what did this leap open up for you, or this transition, I should say, open up for you? I mean, did it open up discomfort, traumas, so many things, right? That it can open.
So many things, so many things. People look at me and go, "Oh, it's all right for you. You're so confident. You're so extrovert. You're so gregarious. Like, of course it's fine for you." I have not always been this person. Right? I have, for most of my life, been someone who suffered from really low self worth, low self esteem. You wouldn't have known it if you'd met me because I was really good at kind of masking and really kind of being this person. But on the inside, like, I was wobbly jelly. Like, I just didn't believe in myself at all. And so held myself back for years because I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I could. I didn't think I deserved to be happy and successful. And really, for me, that moment of change came actually in 2016, where I suddenly had this epiphany out of nowhere. Like, literally, I'd never had this thought before of going, "You are okay as you are." And it changed my life because I like suddenly was like, yeah, like, you know, that's a possibility that I can sit with. Because it wasn't like from 0 to 100, like, "Oh, girl, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're wonderful." Because I would have gone, yeah, right, whatever. But "you are okay as you are." I was like, I can sit with that. But I think what's really important to do is readdress the term fear. That's where we get tripped up on, because there are different types of fear. Now,
Yeah.
if a tiger walked into this room right now and it was licking its lips at me and it had, Katie hunger signs in its eyes, I can be legitimately frightened and I am totally justified in my fear, right? If I go to work in the local grocery store, literally there's a massive grocery store opposite my house. Like, I am bored. I'm rebellious, right? I don't want to be there. I don't care how many apples you're selling this week or what this week's promotional deal is. I don't care. But I'm not afraid. There is no fear in me because I don't care, right?
Right.
But if I am doing an event, if I'm opening a new course, if I'm writing a book, I am legitimately scared every single time. The fear has not gone away. But what I see it now is that actually it is a signpost that I'm on the right path,
Mm-hmm.
because I care. I'm going the right way. And it is that balance. I mean, I am a total Libra. Like, my birthday's next month. I am like Libra through and through. And so it's all about that balance. I can't be so frightened that there's no passion, but also I can't be so passionate that there's no fear there at all, because that's a bit like, who am I kidding, right? Am I lying to myself? What's going on? It is that balance. There is going to be fear, but it shows that I care, right? And so if
Right.
you can find that, and if you're asking, how do people, how do women make a start? How do they find the thing? For me, it was like, what is it that you're really passionate about? What is it you see on social media or on the news or whatever where you're like, that hurts me? That I feel like, why isn't anybody doing anything about this? Why, like, somebody should do something about this. Well, that's you, honey. If you're feeling that way, it's you. You feel that way because you want to do something, right? And for me, really, the catalyst in my life was the whole Me Too movement in 2016. That, I've always been a feminist, but that, I was like, someone should do something. And that's really what led me to the path that I'm on now.
Yeah. So that's beautiful. And I mean, you nailed it. There's always going to be fear.
Yeah.
But also feel and discomfort, right? Because
Oh,
it could be
yeah.
something that you've never done before. And I always say it's in that discomfort that you grow. Like if you don't get uncomfortable, you're not growing. You're staying
Exactly.
exactly where you're at. And I don't know about you, but that just seems boring to me. Like I want to, but that's just me, right? Like I want to learn and expand because I know that that's not only going to help me, I mean, if anything, my children as well. And
Mm,
it's in my own growth that it almost like I helped myself,
yeah.
right? I became a different person in my own growth. That then bled into my husband,
Mm,
going into his own personal transformation. And it just becomes really beautiful because other people see you and you inspire others in your
yeah.
journey.
It really is. It's the ripple effect. It's like chucking a massive rock into a lake. Like, and we see the ripples go out. And, you'll have the immediate circle, like you say, your children, your partner, your parents, your siblings, whoever. But the ripples will continue to go out. And you won't know how far they go. And you won't know who your ripples are touching. And you have to be okay with that, because you are inspiring people. You have no idea every single day. And it's hard, again, I think, the negative, fearful ego, the imposter syndrome, won't believe that. You'll be like, "Ah, yeah, right, me, whatever." But seriously, there are people that look at you who are just like, oh my God, this woman is phenomenal. This woman is an inspiration. This woman is beautiful. And she inspires something in me to do something about myself.
And I think that right there, there's so much power in that. There's so much power in storytelling. And I know you're going to, resonate with this because you are obviously a author, a book
Yes.
coach. And so I believe that it's in those stories, those day-to-day stories that women are like, oh, but there's just nothing special about me,
Oh,
I'm just like, oh, I can't write my story. I can't, share this. There's nothing wow about me. But to me, those are the stories that connect with people. Those are the stories that somebody's going to hear, somebody's going to read, and is going to create a transformation, inspire that person because they're going to see themselves reflected in it.
yeah, literally, one of our oldest forms of art is oral storytelling. It's what we're born for. It's part of our DNA. It's in our absolute core of being. We are born for story. That's how history has been passed down. We didn't always know how to read and write, right? We
Mhm.
didn't have television and social media and the radio. We had oral storytelling.
Yeah.
And what I think, certainly in my lifetime, I'm a millennial for my sins, is that we've seen more of a disconnect. Technology has gone like this, but
Mhm.
community has gone like this at the same time. So what's happened is that we're very individualized, we're very solitary. You come home and I know that I'm generalizing. I know there are people out there with amazing social lives and God love you, but the majority of people very solitary, very just kind of, inward focusing and very lonely, I think, and disconnected. And I feel, especially for women, not, I don't want to kind of, when I say that, I feel like I'm being quite mean to men, and I don't mean to be. I'm in my lane, right? Like I am all about empowering women, and that's where I speak from. So, and I know that for women, and I've seen this time and time again, storytelling, sharing stories, owning stories, that's where our power is. That's where we resonate. That's where we connect. That's where we uplift each other.
Yes. And I also tell people those stories connect, they uplift, but you also have to be careful of protecting your energy, right? Protecting your space because you don't want to get pulled down with other people's stories. You want to be there, you want to be present, but you also have to watch yourself, right? Because I see that a lot too, where, and again, I'm not going to generalize, I'm just going to say
Yeah,
women because it's us talking here,
yeah,
but
sure.
you get together as women and you can be so excited, ready to connect, and then the conversations become of low energy and you can
Mm.
feel yourself just maybe walk out of there depleted instead of energized and excited for getting together. So, what is your advice when people are in a group, and just wanting to empower each other, but by the same token, those stories of empowerment can also drain you or deplete you?
I think it's your intention, right? So, first of all, your vibe attracts your tribe. I know these things are cliche, but they're cliche because they're true. So, if you're surrounded by very negative, miserable, downtrodden people, that's not going to be good for you, right? So you need to look at the people you're surrounded by and ask whether these are the right people for you at this time. Maybe you need to get a new circle. And I know that's hard because that means change. But the alternative is you're staying in the miserable circle, and who wants that for their life, right? Also, if you're in this space, I'm all about everybody is your mirror, right? So people are
Oh, yeah.
reflecting back at you how you feel about yourself. So if you're surrounded by low vibing, complaining, miserable people, what is it in you that is attracting those people towards you? What is it in you that needs to change first, right? Like for the longest time, have I read my dating history to you? Chris, you would cry. Like seriously, I practically picked all the wrong guys for ages, and I was a real victim to that. I was like, what is it about me? I'm such a nice person, right? And it was only when I realized, like, girl, do you even like yourself?
Yes.
No, right? So why do you think you're going to have somebody that mirrors that back to you? It's like, hello. But I think if you're sharing stories and you're listening to other people's stories, first of all, you have to understand that you're not there to rescue and save them from their own story.
Mm-hmm.
That's their work, that's their growth. You can hold space, you can listen, but you don't have to go into savior rescue mode, right? Which is something
Oh,
we
yes.
all do. I say intention. So if your intention for telling your story, because I'm not like, this happened to me, poor me. I go, okay, this happened to me, sure, but this is what I did with it, and this is how I rose up from it. And this is where I am now, and this is what I learned from it. And I'm so thankful that happened to me. Or I'm not thankful that happened to me, but I am thankful to myself for getting through it. Like, what is your intention behind telling your story? Because if it's, poor me, this happened to me, and I'm so sad, and that can be great sometimes if you want to just heal and share from that space. But if you're constantly in this space of victim mentality, you're just bringing everybody down, including yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you really feel that way, then maybe you should talk to a therapist rather than your circle of friends constantly.
Yeah. Yeah. And two things that you said that I really would love for people to just really zone in, right? And focus. And it's what you mentioned of people mirror back to you.
100%.
That is so important that a lot of people don't understand that. They don't understand that. And just like you said, your circle of friends, it's the same thing, right? You are attracting these people into your life. Same reason why you begin to change, you begin to ascend, you begin to elevate, go doing different things. You also lose people in the process
Yeah, you do.
because you're now not vibrating at the same frequency. And so
Um,
that is so important for people to understand that if you see the people in your life and you don't like the things that they say, the things that they do, look at what it's trying to show you.
mhm.
And that absolutely will change your perspective as well. And it also flips it from victim mode to more of empowerment. Like, what is this? What are they reflecting back to me?
Yes, yes, everybody, and it's not just your partner, your friends. It's like literally your colleagues, the people that you're meeting while you're out and about in the street, the people in the shops that you're going into. Like everybody is mirroring back to you the energy that you're putting out because everything is energy, right? If you think back to school
Hmm.
in science class, I wasn't a big science fan, but I do remember this really well. We're all molecules, right? We're all atoms, we're all energy, and we're all moving all of the time, right?
Hmm. Right.
And so that's not just our physical presence, that's the words that we speak, the thoughts in our head, the energy that we're carrying. Your energy will go into the room before you do, right? So if your energy is heavy and low and that's like crawling along the floor, right? And it's gonna like creep up on people and it's gonna affect them. And if you're going in like a ray of sunshine with this beaming light into the world, it's a very different energy, right? Like
Oh,
literally, one of
absolutely.
my friends called me Little Miss Sunshine because I try and have this light. I mean, I'm not a cartoon character. I'm not 100% happy 100% of the time. I'm a person, but I try not to necessarily just put it out into the world. There's enough fear and anger and anxiety in the world anymore. I don't want to add to it.
Yeah. So tell us what did you find needed to change in your life to truly improve? Because you've talked about so many things, right? So many different um, shifts and transformations that you've gone through, but what is it?
So there was two real key moments for me. Certainly, I mean, obviously we can go right back to childhood, but in the last 15 years, there were two definite moments that changed me. The, the second one I'll start with because it's actually easiest to talk about, which was the breakdown of my marriage, which happened 2016, 2017. And since that point, I've been a single parent of my children. Um, it just, I think it really wasn't a marriage of equals in the sense that I don't mean that he was less than me. It just we didn't meet anywhere. Like it was a real talk about energy. There was a real disconnect between us, and there came a tipping point. You try and I'm a people pleaser by trade. I can't help it. So you try and make it nice. Make it nice, fix it, and you try and you try and you try. But the epiphany of this really is not working anymore, and I don't want to keep trying anymore and to own that, I suppose, and not bury it, not kind of turn away from it, not kind of numb it with food or with alcohol or, to own it and say it out loud. Although obviously that proved to be the catalyst for change, I was really proud of myself because I'd never done that before. I'd never owned my own truth that strongly before. And I think a lot of it came from the fear that I couldn't cope on my own, that I wouldn't be able to cope as a single parent of three kids. And it kept me locked in a space that I really should have left sooner. But there comes a point where you realize sometimes it's more painful to hold on than it is to let go and to
Yeah.
trust yourself enough that whatever happens, you've got you. And I think even just doing that and going through that time showed me how strong I was. And I was much stronger than I thought I was.
Yeah.
you know. But the first story, it's okay. This is a very and I like just like TikTok trigger warning. In 2010, my grandparents sadly passed away on the same day, and they it wasn't natural causes. They were both in their 70s, and my granddad had what used to be called emphysema. I think it's now called something else. Obviously, years and years of smoking, he had oxygen tanks with him, and he wasn't a well man. Essentially, a youngish man who had learning difficulties. He had been dared by some of the other guys on the place where they lived. They used his disabilities as like they got him to do things for fun. And one of the things they got him to do was he set my grandparents' mobility scooter on fire that was outside their house. The fire spread into their house, and thankfully, the fire brigade got them out through the back window and took them to hospital because they didn't have a lot of smoke. But they both passed away the next day from what happened. Um, I was with my nan when she passed and felt her spirit leave her body. It was one of the most sad and beautiful moments of my life at the same time. But of course, what happened then was that we had a police investigation because it was, well, at the time they weren't sure if it was murder or manslaughter. We also had the media camped out on the end of our street, and they even came to the funeral and they were taking photographs, and of course then it was the shock and the trauma to go through that. Like it just talk about a tower moment. And the tower moment, if people don't realize, tower comes from the tarot and the tower card, which is where that card where the tower is coming down, there are people like leaping out the window. And it's showing like this sudden extreme change in your life where your tower is coming down and you can't stop it, even if you want to. Like, but it has to come down. And I realized once the dust had kind of settled, was that I had been unhappy for a really long time in my life. I had been, and I say now, I was like, I was bobbing along the ocean on a boat with no mast, no oar, no sail, no compass, no motor. Like I was just going where life was taking me, but I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I wasn't happy. I kept trying to find my happiness in external things like men and shopping and, going out, and nothing was working. And I feel that that time in 2010 really just put me on my backside and made me just really reflect on who I was, where I was, what I was doing, what I wanted, and it changed my life. And what's, I believe fully, as you've realized, I'm sure, is synchronicity. And at the same time, met a friend of my mom's who was a psychic medium, God rest her. And the first words when she met me was not hello or nice to meet you. She went, "You can do what I can do, you know." And I was like, pardon? Yeah, she saw it in me, and she was my mentor for years and helped awaken me, helped to bring out my gifts. And yeah, it was a very turning point for me in my life.
Wow. What a synchronicity of events, right? And, my heart goes out to you, for these events that happened that are traumatic in many ways, right? But
Yeah.
as you were saying that, it's like this woman, you met her
Hmm.
as a result of this event, or not as a result, but after this event.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what that cracked open with you
Hmm.
is probably the very thing that your soul was calling for in that moment.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I didn't know. That's the thing. We get so caught up in looking for ourselves and other people. And so in the external world, looking for answers outside of ourselves. And yet, just like Elsa in Frozen 2, you are the one you've been waiting for. Everything you need is in there. It's all in there.
So
Everything. All of your light, all of your gifts, all of your skills, all of your talent, all of your abilities, all of your magic is in there, right? So it's
it's
not
there.
finding it, it's just connecting to it. It's unlocking it, it's bringing it out. It already lives in you. You can't
Yeah.
find
I mean, so you take me to the next point of there are so many women, even those listening, that just feel stuck or afraid to step outside their comfort zone, right?
it.
To go within, to
Hmm.
unlock this magic. So what are some recommendations that you have for others to move forward, to open themselves up for transformation?
Yeah, absolutely. And there is no, I want to start by saying that if I had a magic formula to do that, I would be a billionaire. So what I can do is everybody's journey is different, everybody's journey is personalized, and you have to find what works for you. And you have to get curious about yourself and see yourself as your own inner quest and go and explore and find out who you are. And that's not going to happen in one day.
No.
You know, we live in a society of instant gratification. We want the answers yesterday, please, but as quickly and as easily as possible. But you are with you for the rest of your life. You are your longest and most prominent relationship and journey and discovery, and you deserve your time. You deserve your energy, right? So
Right.
that's the most important thing to say. But I can give you some kind of things that have helped me. One was to really think back, like, you know, that stuff that I used to do when I was a kid that I loved, being a single only child and, you know, sitting in my bedroom and what did I actually love to do? Like, what could I spend hours doing for free, you know, and didn't get paid for it? There wasn't no social media. You know, I just did it because I absolutely loved it. And that thought process really led me to my ultimate favorite all-time love, which is books. Like I learned to read from a very, very young age. My mum had to join the library because she couldn't keep up with me because I am a very quick reader. And I was just like short circuit movie. I was just like input, 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 input. And then once I learned how to write and got into creative writing, I was always either reading or writing, reading or writing. And so that love of me has been with me for my whole life, which led me then to go, look, what is it that's been stopping me? My self-esteem, my self-worth. Okay. But this dream has been with you since you were like 4. Why can't you just try? Just give it a
Mhm.
go. Like, no one has to see what you do. And you're going
Mhm.
to be a beginner, so you're going to be crap at it, by the way. And that a lot of people won't let themselves begin because they don't want to be bad at something. But you're going to be bad at something. No one's like a genius off the get go, unless you're like Beethoven, who learned to play the piano when he was 3. You know, it's like you're going to be rubbish, but you practice and you progress, right? So every time you do it, you get better a little bit, and you get better a little bit, and you get better a little bit. So that's kind of one of the first things is look back and remember who you are and what you used to love to do. The second thing that really changed for me was, I could say, my own relationship I have with myself. And one of the key things that one of the practices I did is, I'm sure everyone's kind of familiar with it, even if you haven't tried it, is called Mirror Work by louise hay, who was the owner of Hay House. And the first time I did it, so the idea is that you sit with yourself in front of the mirror, and like most women, I think, you know, you try and spend minimal time with the mirror, right? You'll do your makeup, you'll do your hair, but you're not spending hours looking at your own reflection because we just focus on what we don't like, right? So you do your things and you go. She makes you sit, right? And the first time, like I felt like my skin wanted to crawl off my body. Like I wanted to just run from my own reflection. I wasn't comfortable. The second time I did it, I just giggled like a 3-year old. Like I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world because again, I was embarrassed. And it was only me with myself, but I was awkward and embarrassed. So I just laughed. And third time's a charm, right? So I sat and I made myself stay, right? I literally was like, hold onto the carpet with my fingertips. I was like, no, girl, you're going to stay. We're going to try this and try and do this. And you look at your own reflection into your own eyes and you keep looking. Now, what's interesting about that is the more you look, the deeper you go. So you go past the I am to I am Katie, I am a mother, I am a daughter, and then you keep going down. It's like going down an elevator. Down, 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 down. And after some time, and it could be 30 seconds, it could be 5 minutes, you find your soul.
Mm.
You see like your absolute core. And it was beautiful. And I cried. And I was just like, oh, there you are. And I'm so sorry that I've abandoned you for so long. And then it's to give yourself loads and loads and loads of self love and affirmation. And like, even if you don't believe it at first, you feel it and you say it.
Yeah.
And the more, and you keep coming back to the mirror, like as well, every day if you can, but at least a few times a week, and you keep repeating the practice. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes, but also the more you're starting to rewire your brain. You're creating new neurological pathways in your mind. You're shifting your story. You're shifting the way you see yourself. And that means that when you have these dreams, you actually allow yourself to step into them.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Mirror work is powerful
Very.
and so important,
Mm.
but so uncomfortable, like you said, for so
Oh,
many
yeah.
people. And that's the key. You know, people do not give themselves enough time to sit with themselves, whether it's in front of the mirror or just alone, to hear your own thoughts, to look at your own reflection. But it's in those moments that you are going to see
Yeah.
everything within you.
Yeah, absolutely. I heard somebody say once that, spirit, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, is between the breaths. So
Mm,
between the in breath and the out and the exhale, that's where it lives.
yeah,
But how can you find it if you don't allow space and time to find
right,
it?
right. And we live in this busy, 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 busy hustle, hustle, hustle that people don't quiet themselves. So for anyone who's listening, take that time. Take the time to sit with yourself, to sit, with your thoughts, and magic will definitely unfold.
Yeah.
And Katie, I mean, what I've heard from you just throughout this whole episode is just more of this beautiful reminder that our tough moments, our broken moments, our struggles, that they don't define us, that they actually are the doorway to our own magic, to our own
Yeah.
soul, to our wisdom. So, for anyone that is here tuning in, please, reach out. Katie, let us know how they can connect with you. They can connect with you straight in here in the community, but how else can they connect with you?
Thank you. Well, yes, you find me on this community if anybody wants to message me here. But I also am across social media, of course, like most people. I try and make it as simple as possible. So my handle is 𝗞𝘁𝗶𝗲 1111. So nice and simple. Or there's my website, which is literally 𝗞𝘁𝗶𝗲.co.uk. And all of my offerings, all of the work, everything is on there.
Thank you so much, Katie. We appreciate having you here. And what other drops of wisdom can the community expect to hear from you or learn from you?
Well, like I say, I am a woman of a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I have many strings to my bow, clearly. And I'm very much about connecting to your power, your magic, your truth, your authenticity. So my thing is, let's find ourselves, let's uncover ourselves, let's connect to ourselves, and let's find. Yeah, that doesn't have to be serious and boring and heavy. Like, no. My thing is, let's bring some sparkle, some unicorns, some rainbows, some magic into our own magic. So I try and bring joy in the discovery because I say, Lord knows, life is tough enough as it is without adding more stress to our lives. We have enough to do as it is without going, oh, great, another thing I have to do.
Thank you so much, Katie. We appreciate you having you here. We appreciate you sharing your story, your wisdom, and we look forward to continuing to learn from you this month as one of our guest experts. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me. Like I say, I knew it'd be a great conversation. It really was. I really, really enjoyed it. And I really look forward to connecting with more amazing people in this group. Thank you.
Thank you.